Hello? I'm looking for Ezra Lee. What do you want? I'm looking for an Ezra Lee. Is that you or not?
Yes. What is your business here?
Hello. I am actually an interviewer with the Columbus News newspaper, as you probably have heard of. And, my name is Matthew Johnson, by the way. And I was wondering if I could interview you about your submarine.
Yes. You may come inside.
First of all, what was your role in the war?
Well, it was 1776, and at the time, I was merely a Continental Army sergeant.
Some say that you weren't actually the intended operator for the turtle submarine. Is this factual?
Well, yes, it's true. Originally, the inventor, of course, David Bushnell, had intended and even trained his brother, Ezra Bushnell, for the mission. Then, on the day of said mission, Ezra fell quite ill and it had been decided he wouldn't do it.
So they ended up hiring you?
No, I was volunteered. After figuring they needed a new person, Bushnell approached General Samuel Holden Parsons of the Connecticut Militia for help. Parsons then put out a cell for volunteers, from which I was then selected based on my abilities.
I see. Speaking of Bushnell, how did he come up with such a thing? You know, using a submarine to blow up another ship? Or even getting gunpowder to blow up whilst in water?
This gunpowder advancement or discovery, whatever you want to call it in the paper, is actually what started this whole debacle. This whole thing started with a bang. Literally. At Yale, Bushnell exploded 2 ounces of gunpowder in order to prove that powder will take fire underwater. In turn, this 2 ounces of gunpowder was submerged and erupted in a wooden pipe.
But what does 2 ounces matter?
If you let me talk.
So now that the turtle and its purposes had initially been thought of, how did it work? What were some of the deeper specifics of its function and the actual mission that it was made to carry out?
To begin, for the vessel, a rather long, strong log was cut and shaped into the appearance of an egg, then sliced lengthwise. The 2 halves were hollowed out to accommodate 150 pounds of gunpowder and the detonator, a clockwork that triggered a flintlock after so many hours. Then, it was attached together by iron bands. Finally, by tarring, the turtle was waterproof.
How did you know everything would work?
It had been tested quite intently, actually. The only thing was that I hadn't had the experience yet.
What that means is that, of course, the mission was a failure.
Yes and no. We didn't blow up the HMS Eagle, but we did contribute to the war. We frightened the British and gave them what for by displaying classic American ingenuity. I think of it as almost giving the Brits the American finger. Because at this point, we knew we could survive without them and still have our own advancements.
I guess the turtle did have an impact, even though it miserably failed its mission, But how did it fail? What exactly happened?
I hate to say it, but it was partially because of my inexperience. The waters were rough, and it was hard work directing the bloody thing. Afterwards, I didn't want to move for like 6-7 hours.
For 6 or 7 hours, you say? What made it such an intense job?
Not only was there the pressure of America, but maneuvering in any way was pretty labor intensive. In order to dive, water was pumped into the ballast tank, into the surface, water was pumped out. I pedaled the front propeller for horizontal movement and hand cranked a top propeller for vertical movement. And in perfect calm waters, I still only went about 3 miles per hour.
Is that why you couldn't attach the bomb to the British ship? Or, as you know it, the HMS Eagle?
Again, partially yes, and partially no. To begin, I had to hand crank the screw into their ship in order to attach the mine, but as I was cranking, it simply wouldn't go through. There was a metal plate on the ship's hull where the mine needed to be placed, and after some time, I thought really hard, and I had no choice but to abort the mission.
But if it was a ticking time bomb, how did you make it back to land in time? Because you couldn't detach the mine to the ship.
Well, I still detached the mine, of course. I wasn't going to blow the turtle or myself to smithereens, for that matter. So it was cast away from myself and the vessel, erupting in the water once I was safe enough away.
Did the Brits see this?
Oh yes. I'd never seen them more frightened in my whole life.
So whatever happened to the turtle after that then?
Well, to our disadvantage, it was being transported on a larger ship when the Royal British Navy frigates, including the HMS Phoenix, HMX Roebuck, and the HMS Tartar, opened fire and initially sank it.
I thought it was salvaged though. You know, the turtle.
Well, to an extent. It actually was put back together, but it could not be effectively used anymore. And after that, who knows what happened to it.
Is something burning, Mr.
My soup! I must take care of that right away. That is, if all of your questions are answered.
Very well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me. Goodbye, Mr. Lee.